Our building is surrounded by Pride Fest, the LGBT madness that's taking place.
So, I'm a Christian, and I'm gay, and I used to go to this church, and I have participated in this Pride Fest, or the LGBT madness that Pastor Dan is referring to here. And when I first saw this, I mostly just felt sad because it's such a starved representation of the gospel. I thought folks should know what this church thinks of its neighbors, and I have a few more thoughts, but let's let Pastor Dan give us a little more context.
We love God and we love people, and I think even what's happening this weekend outside of our own church building is a good example of why we need to be immovable in the truth. I mean, right now, our building is nearly surrounded by Pride Fest, the LGBT madness that's taking place. And it's like right here.
So it's no surprise that Walnut Creek did not participate in Des Moines Pride Fest. They're part of the Southern Baptist Convention. They're not affirming of LGBTQ marriage. Okay, fine. But even by their own standards, this is a pretty poor way to build bridges. He thinks that because I participated in Pride that I'm mad, that I'm crazy. Like, where does the conversation even go from here?
If our church was not here, there would be no one proclaiming the truth in the downtown area. Nobody.
There's at least 10 churches in the Des Moines downtown area, probably more. There are a ton of Christian denominations. There's more denominations of Christianity than years that Christianity has existed. And yet the Southern Baptists are the ones that got it right. I think what he means is that there's no other church proclaiming the gospel or the truth as defined by Walnut Creek.
No one lifting up the good news of the gospel. No one telling these people the truth about who God is and about God's design for human beings and human sexuality.
So is it about the good news or is it about sexuality? Because it sounds a lot like he's conflating the two. Walnut Creek preaches that you can't do anything to earn God's love. So even if folks don't agree with your view on sexuality, what does that have to do with salvation? It's confusing at best.
Many of the churches downtown are the churches who are funding and supporting the Pride Parade today.
I and my church are involved in the community showing God's love to people, and that not all Christians are in the shouting match of the culture war. I know outreach is important to this church too,
And so I say that not to say we should be mean-spirited or hateful or against people. No, I'm just saying.
He throws in that disclaimer, but I'm not convinced. You can't start the conversation by calling us mad and then say you're not trying to be mean-spirited and hateful.
I think this is a microcosm of the world that we live in. The world that we live in hates the truth. That's what Jesus says. They don't want the truth. When it comes to the truth, they close their eyes, they plug their ears. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to see the truth.
You don't know these people. You don't know where they're at in their spiritual journey. How do you know that they hate the truth? It seems like what he's really saying is my perspective might be unpopular, so it's easier for me to label anyone who disagrees with me as hating the truth.
And if Christians move away from the truth, then the church loses its light.
I'm not sure what light he's talking about here, because it can't be this sad, antagonistic perspective. A God that reaches out towards his children is kind towards the marginalized and vulnerable. A church that provides service and community. That's the light. I attended Dan's church for most of my life. So many gay people have a Christian background or a church background. This church knows that they have non-straight people in attendance. And in my mind, the only thing that this kind of rhetoric accomplishes is, one, it gives the audience permission to other LGBTQ people to view them as opponents rather than neighbors. And two, it shames and belittles those in the audience who are straight, who don't even know what all that means yet. I know not everybody at Walnut Creek hates gay people, but if this is the language and rhetoric you're using, then it's really hard to believe otherwise. Dan didn't get into his biblical reasons for why he thinks pride is madness, so I'm not going to get into that here either, but there are so many resources out there. Dan McClellan on TikTok and other social media platforms, he's great. And there are even folks who align with Walnut Creek theologically, but are much more thoughtful and compassionate and articulate. Pieter Valk is one that comes to mind. So if you're in the Des Moines area, just be aware there are other churches out there. So be safe and happy Pride.